Alright, welcome to Buckle Up Garage. Thanks for tuning in. Today we are at the Indiana State Fairgrounds checking out another Mecum auction. They do 2 auctions here a year. This is the Fall Special. They also do the Spring Classic in May. That one is a much bigger show, a lot more cars. This one originally was the one that they did in Schaumburg, Illinois. They called it the Chicago show. I believe when COVID happened and restrictions and things like that as they were, they moved it to the Indiana venue. Quite honestly, I like this venue better. Again, this is a much smaller one, but it's still fun nonetheless. As I've said before, if you were at all a car person, and it doesn't matter what you're into, hot rods, vintage muscle cars, trucks, race cars, exotics, they've got pretty much everything here that you could want. And I say this a lot as well. You're going to see things at a Mecum auction that you never thought you'd see, and things that you didn't know existed. There's always something cool here. So let's get to it, take a walk around, see what we find. Here we have one of the quintessential gassers from back in the day. This is a 48 Ford Anglia. It has got a 392 Chrysler Hemi that has been bored stroked to 462 cubic inch. It's got a Moonham supercharger on it. It has got everything you're looking for in a vintage gasser. This one's a 4-door. Most of them I think I've ever seen were 2-doors, but got the funny car roll cage in it. Got all the appropriate gauges. It is a tight fit in there. Get back here so you can see a little bit better. Yeah, this one's got tailpipes and everything on it, so I'm guessing this is a street vehicle. Very cool. It says on the back that it's AAGS record holder. Ran a 797 or 170 miles an hour. The bigger balls than I got. It would be a hell of a ride. Okay. Almost walked past this one. Looked like a mid-80s El Camino, which it is. But this one's a little different. This one has been customized. It's an El Camaro. It has been upgraded with the houndstooth interior and the console. It even has console gauge pack of a 69 Camaro. It's got a supercharged LS. We'll take a look at the front end of this. Yeah. Very well done. I'm sure there's probably a lot of people out there that wouldn't dig something like this, but I suppose it really depends on what kind of shape that 69 Camaro was that they used to part onto this. They come around the back, they've even actually integrated it into the back end. It's got the taillights, got a deck spoiler on the tailgate. Tailgate does function, which I think sometimes is the hardest thing to do with this, is finding a way to work car taillights into a tailgate on a pickup truck, or in this case an El Camino. Pretty cool though. Another shot inside. Nicely done. Right here we have a 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback GT 500. Says that it is a 427, about 540 horse. The chalk marks on it's an all aluminum 427 with a TK 5-speed. Pretty nice interior, little custom work down there. It's somebody's signature. I'm not sure who that is, but I'm gonna guess it's probably somebody significant. Kind of watch where I'm walking. Got the race style fuel cap. Come around the front. Yeah, it's a nice car. I've always kind of dug the driving lights tucked in real close next to each other in the front. Looks really nice with that hood scoop and the stripe treatment. Alright, I have always been a sucker for the cab forward pickups and vans from the early, mid, late 60s. This one's a 65 Ford. I believe it's still called, yeah, it was. They still use the Econoline name. Being a Mopar guy, obviously, I was always drawn to the A100 Dodges because of the Little Red Wagon. But Ford, Chevy, Dodge all made one of these. Chevy actually had two. They had one in their standard line, which I cannot remember what they called it, but they also did one in a Corvair. These are pretty cool. I think this was an effort to keep a small truck but still keep the bed as large as you could. I mean, they really were death machines. If you happen to be unfortunate enough to rear end somebody, you were probably going through that windshield. If you look online, and I forget if it was a Ford or the Dodge, but there is footage of a brake test with one of these things where they slammed on the brakes and this thing started to endo. Kind of came up on the front axle, raised the back wheels a couple feet in the air. So yeah, these things were dangerous as hell, but they are unique. And this one is a really nice example of the Ford Econoline. All right, another 55 Chevy post body. Says this one inspired by the American Graffiti car, which is pretty obvious. Straight axle. Got a very similar hood scoop on it. Fender well headers. Take a look here. 572 crate motor, automatic, Ford 9-inch. Come around, says it's got the tuck and roll interior. Let's get a look at that. See a roll bar in it. Oh, that's nice. Who doesn't like a Tri-5 in black? Period correct tack. Yeah, this is cool. This is cool. Oh. And it's a tilt nose. And it looks like it's probably going across the block pretty soon, so maybe I'll get a chance to see what this one goes for. '66 Pontiac GTO. If I were a Pontiac guy, this is the GTO I would want. Hey, I love this year. I love this style. This is a 389 4-speed car. It's in silver, as you can see, black guts. It's another car that just has an absolutely mean front end on it. Hard to argue with the looks on this one. It's got the period correct Traeger SS's on it. Get a look in the interior. Yeah, this one's really nicely done. Vinyl top. A lot of cars with vinyl tops back then. Did tend to rot the roofs out. Some of them survived. Yeah. What a sweetheart. And who doesn't like a 32 Ford 3-window? This one is a fiberglass. It's not an original steel body. It does have a board and stroke small block in it. Nicely done. Very ultra reliable. Love the color. Kind of burnt orange. Get a look in the interior for you. And kind of a cream tan. Again, nice vintage stack. Works perfect with it. Good looking. An absolute blast to drive. Not a lot of weight. Good solid motor in it. If you're a certain age, and that's a nice way of saying if you're old, and you grew up, or maybe you're a young adult in the 80s, you saw stuff like this just about every day. It's kind of a prototype or textbook 80s 4x4. There's a 74 Chevy C10 small block that says it's got 650 horse, I believe it said. Yep. It says it's a frame-up restoration. I mean, it's been apart, but it's a little rough. No harm, no foul. It's still probably nicer than it ever was back when it was first built. Everybody had these. Everybody. This one's been upgraded with, say, 3/4 ton axles. I guess I didn't even know you could get. Maybe you can't. Maybe these are vintage super swappers. Possibly the loudest mud tires ever created. Very typical 80s paint job. Oh, it's got a fuel cell in it. Catch can? Not quite sure. Big diamond plate bumper on the back. It's got the Borla exhaust. Skyjackers, I believe, is the soft drives. You can get a better shot of the labeling on these. But yeah, these things were everywhere back in the day. Alright, I talked a lot about seeing things at a Mecum auction that you never thought you'd see or you don't know anything about. This would be one for me. This is a 1928 Franklin Racer. Appears to be pretty original. It's got no reserve, so someone's walking out of here with this one today. These are, you know, the original race cars. These are the kind of things that they ran at Indy and other circle tracks. They're essentially like buggies from the horse and buggy era that they put a motor on. I believe this one said it's a straight 6. No idea what it originated as. Yeah, look at they got a clock on it, so I'm assuming they're running for times. Got the original racing goggles up on the cowl. This thing's neat. Got a quick knockoff holding the spare on. Guess that's the original quick pit stop deal. Straight side pipe exhaust. This thing's got to be loud as hell. Neat car. First one I've ever seen. Well, that certainly isn't a selling point. Nice looking truck though, if it ran. Here you have a 1972 Chevy C10. It's got Cheyenne badges on it. It is, I'm going to have to assume, full custom chassis. It doesn't really say. But it looks like they dropped the, some of you guys hate this term, patinaed cab and box onto all modern running gear and chassis. Personally, I think this is pretty cool. Again, you can't really be a modern Chevy without an LS in it. They do have the engine compartment trimmed out really nicely. Another shot here. Obviously lowered. Modern wheels. I'm sure it's C-channeled underneath there because you can see the bed is pretty high up in the back of this thing. The floor is anyway. And I'll get a shot. You can see the interior on this one. Bench seat, cup holders built in. I kind of dig that. Little modern upgrades. Looks like the original dash. I'm sure the gauges and things like that are modernized. My favorite, wing windows. Bring back wing windows. We would all love them. Yeah, looks good. Nice mix of old and new. The lowly unsung hero of the Mecum auction, the fork truck. I don't believe you can call yourself a car guy if you don't have some kind of an attraction to the Smokey and the Bandit Trans Ams. Well, this one does have the Smokey and the Bandit treatment. It is a 76, not a 77, so it's got the earlier front end. If you've ever watched the movie, there's one shot where you can see they used the 76 that they put the front clip for a 77 on, or at least they were using leftover 76 wheels, because you can see the different rims that are on it in that one particular shot. Yeah, these are neat. This is a 455. It is a 4-speed shaker hood. Black interior. Good looking. Nice car. All right, one for the lowrider crowd. Again, absolutely not my wheelhouse, but how can you not appreciate the work that goes into something like this? This is a 68 Buick LaSabre. I don't even know where to begin explaining the paint on this and what it takes to do this. I mean, I put up a video earlier of the 85 Monte Carlo Street Freak that was kind of a joke. This thing is no joke. This is an unbelievable paint job. The labor that had to go into this, just, you know, taping all this off over and over again to end up with this final product. And then the interior, the customizing in the interior, I mean, it may not be what you're into, but there's not a part of this car that hasn't been touched. The custom console that I'm sure is fiberglass, 4 bucket seats with the fiberglass, let's call it the partition for the back, the upholstery on the doors, the seats. And come around the back side of this. I will try and take a good picture or video of what's in the trunk of this thing that I don't understand anything about. Maybe somebody can explain this to me. I mean, I understand it's for the hydraulics. But what all this means, even the back side of the trunk, well, it's not, you know, flaked out, custom striped and everything. Still, it's work. Just look at this. I'm at a loss for words. Wow. Just wow. 1972 Chevelle. This is a small block car. 355. Essentially is an overboard 350. 11.5 to 1 compression, 355 gears. Probably a very scooty little car. All black, straight car. Oh, kind of a cool custom thing going on here on the back. And also vinyl top car. Pretty popular back in those days. Modern wheels. So you're going to go with modern wheels. I would spend the extra money to upgrade the disc brakes because the drums just kind of take away from it. But again, it's not my car. So what I think doesn't matter. Nice interior. Automatic on the floor. Cowl induction. Good looking car. And if you're in the mood to make some life-altering financial decisions, possibly end up in divorce court, you can finance your new muscle car, classic, right here on the grounds. I highly suggest staying away from that desk. This is pretty neat. This is a 69 Plymouth GTX. That's original paint you're looking at. Looks like this, I would call survivor status. Got a little weird kind of custom thing going on in the deck lid. It's got a US 30 drag strip decal on the back. The interior obviously is showing its age. But it's original. There's something going on with the top of the dash. Aftermarket shifter. It says it's a numbers matching 440 in this one. It does have a lift-off hood. That is not factory. I'm assuming the missing headlights are for like an air induction system. Some of the chrome's been painted out, blacked out to maybe make it look a little better. But a pretty honest car. Got bid to 25 grand. I'd say that's right in the right neighborhood. I guess this would be another example of the 68 GTX that I found completely rotted and gutted in Old Car City in Georgia. It was the same color. Six-pack hood. Might be a six-pack in this thing. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Alright, so this one's a little different. This is a 70 Mustang Coupe. It does have the Marti report, which if you're a Ford person, this is essentially it's the documentation about what's authentic on this car and how it was actually built. What kind of drew my attention when I was walking up was the shaker hood. And I guess because I don't know my Fords very well, I didn't know if that would have been factory on this. Because I know the coupe body wasn't ever used for, you know, like the Mach 1s and things like that, or the Boss cars. And I don't see that on the Marti report, so I think that might have been added. It's a little bit more detail on it. 351, 4-speed, track lock with, you know, it doesn't say what the gears are, but white with a red interior, deck spoiler. Just not the real common body style that you see. You usually see the fastbacks. But this one is a very nice example of it. You get a shot in the interior. Put the Hurst shifter on it. Yeah, another good looking Ford. Alright, if you know me at all, you know I have an absolute love of the 71 and 72 Plymouth B-bodies, satellites, roadrunners, GTXs. Blue is always going to hold a special place for me. My brother's high school car was a 71 Satellite blue. This one is a real 72 Roadrunner with a 400. The high bid was $37,000. You know, who knows what the reserve was. It is also a 4-speed. It is an air grabber car. Got the strobe stripe, the deck wing. It does check all the boxes. Certainly checks them for me. I doubt 37 grand would ever buy this car because it is actually in really nice shape. Another shot of the interior. Yeah. Someday.
Good wheels. So, $24,500, Laura. Now offering on this 1972 Chevy K10 pickup. Frame off, restored with a short bed, 350 V8 four-wheel drive.
Well, hopefully you're not getting sick of the Chevy pickup trucks because I keep seeming to find these. This is 1970 K10, extensively restored, but they tried to stay true to the original look. It's a short bed, which really helps it out. And it is no secret that I am a sucker for the steel wheels and the dog dish hubcaps. It's good. Also, I like the tonneau covers, the snap tonneau covers from that era. I think they look really nice. 70 has the gas tank behind the seat. This one as well has a houndstooth interior. Seem to see that a lot today. It's kept pretty basic and pretty stock, other than the steering wheel. You know, the gauges might be updated mechanically, but they do have the same look. Manual windows. Something about the way the doors shut on old American iron. But yeah, this one's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. What we have here is a 1970 Olds Cutlass with the W31 package. W31 got you the small block with I believe like a hotter cam and maybe better compression. I think that also got you the cold air intake and maybe a particular gear set. I'm not really up on my Oldsmobile, so I'm a tad off on that. It's a pretty nice example. Interesting color combination. Kind of this gold beige interior. And here comes what I thought was a Ferrari Dino. It's actually a kit car on a Datsun chassis, obviously a V8. Got lots of loud stuff here right at the moment. But the W31, I believe, is a step down from the 442. The 442 is a big block package. But yeah, this is pretty cool on its own. Well, they got it to run. She was being stubborn. Mach 1. 4-speed shaker. 428.
Give 100.
Getting to the late 70s, muscle car era was completely over. A lot of people refer to it as the Malaysian era. I believe that in the Mopar line, you had Furies and you had Cordobas and all of them on this platform, that the Dodge Magnum was the best looking version of that era. It suffered from the same thing that all of the cars did at that time, being these big chunky bumpers on the front of them that they had to do for safety regulations. If they could have incorporated a more cosmetically pleasing bumper onto these, would have helped a lot. This one came with a 360. I think you could get a 400 in these. I know they were still putting them in Cordobas and stuff. The Magnum GT, which this one is, came with the wheel flares. The standard Magnum did not. A lot of the GTs had T-tops. This one does not. It does look like it's maybe been painted once in its life, or it's just the typical bad quality factory paint work from back then. But if I absolutely had to have a late 70s Mopar, this is what I would want to get my hands on. Get a little closer look in the interior. Not much to the dash, pretty typical. It does have a nice steering wheel. It's clean. It does have a few loose ends here. But other than that, I haven't seen one of these in a while. This one is actually pretty nice. Alright, this is a 61 Chevy Impala bubble top. Kind of a semi-custom. It does have modern wheels and tires on it. You see Wilbur brakes through the spokes. But I think this is another one where they kept it pretty true to the original setup. It says it's a big block. I'm going to guess it's a modern big block, not the 348 or 409 that I think this came with. It is a 4-speed car, bench seat interior. Very typical of any of the American cars from the late 50s, early 60s. You do see the controller there. That generally means the radio's been modernized for Bluetooth and stuff, and that's the remote control for it. But they call these the bubble tops. As you can see, there's not much B-pillar on these. It's a lot of glass, which tended to make these things pretty warm for the passengers in the sun if you didn't have AC. But this is a really successful body style coming out of the tail fin era that everybody kind of went through in the mid to late 50s. I think they did a really good job kind of walking away from that and into the next era of design. 1955 Nomad Wagon. I can't say I was a huge fan of Nomads, but one of the YouTube channels that I watch, DD Speed Shop, does a lot of Tri-5s. And he's got a couple of these. One that's all ratted out, and one that is relatively untouched other than high performance engine and things like that, but it looks closer to this. Kind of give me an appreciation for these things. This one is a 265 V8. It's got a turbo 350 in it. All black, as you can see. Get a shot of the interior on this one. That is one humongous steering wheel. Upholstery's updated. And a combination of velour and cloth. No foul there. It's probably a hell of a lot more comfortable. Come around the other side of it again. Again, black always looks good. Straight black looks better. This is a really neat car. Really neat. Really like the steel wheels and the dog dishes. Alright, so that is going to do it for today's visit to Mecum Indy Fall Special. It's a much smaller auction than they do in the spring, and much smaller, obviously, than one in Kissimmee that's coming up in January that I'll be at. A lot of interesting cars, a lot of weird kind of oddballs, but these are never a disappointment. Even though this is a smaller one, there's still plenty of really neat things to look at, people to talk to. As I kind of inserted the photo, got a chance to meet a couple of TV guys that I look up to. And till our next episode, this is Corey from Buckle Up Garage. I appreciate you tuning in. Hit the like, subscribe, share with your friends, all that good stuff. It all helps me out. And I will put up this video, and I'm also going to have some shorts from today if you just want a quick bits and pieces of it. So again, appreciate it, and until the next episode, later.